Howdy YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Gunman. So today we've got another spray gun review. It looks like the spray gun wars are going to be reignited because SATA developers and I don't know about iWater. I know who knows about iWater, but SATA and developers are looking to release some pretty killer guns at the moment and in the near future. So either way, this gun here is the SATAjet CC. So I believe it's going to be part of the SATA lineup. So I believe this is not just a one-off gun. And I was having a quick look at the website where I got it from, and it only comes in 1.3. So originally, when I was offered this gun for purpose of review, thank you Spray Guns Direct, that's where I got it. There will be a link in the description. But yes, when I originally got this, I was going to go for a 1.2 because the clear coat that I've been spraying lately, it prefers less material on there. Now, as it turns out, I was assured that the 1.3cc, which is what you see here, does actually operate more like a 1.2 in most of the SATAjet guns. As far as what you can expect in the box, there are two options. So you can have the option of the hard pot. I've found most people don't really use them anymore. Most people are rocking the RPS or PPS, so you can get PPS adapters if you like, but do be careful with them. I have heard of some people using their SATAjets with the PPS2 adapters, and they can actually break the front of the gun if you tighten them up too much. So yeah, they are really a lot better off. These guns do perform a fair bit better, I find anyway, when you use the RPS, and I'm actually finding myself leaning towards using the RPS pots anyway. As far as the gun itself goes, I reckon it is a beautiful gun. Like, isn't that a really nice looking gun? I don't know. Like I was saying before, it looks like the spray gun wars are going to be rekindled with the reintroduction of some of the wraps from developers. They're bringing back the a couple of their favorites, but again, I'm getting sidetracked. Let's get into the gun. Now, I got the non-digital version. You may have noticed that this gun does not have a digital pressure gauge on the side. There are two options in it. Now, one thing that does and always has annoyed me a little bit about the SATAjets, even the non-digital version comes with a little air swivel down the base of the gun. So I would like to tell you guys what pressure I'm spraying at, but at the end of the day, I can't, because even if I have, which I do have, a pressure gauge, I can't put it on the base of the gun because it spins around, and it's a real annoying thing to have on the base of the gun. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't really bother me because I kind of know how to spray by feel. I think it's actually, it can be advantageous to just sort of get the feel of how to spray by feel, you know? So I do recommend trying that to some of you guys. But in saying that, it's also good to follow somewhat of a procedure. And yeah, if you want to get replicatable results, you probably want to, you know, spray exactly the same each job. You know, you don't want to be getting like heavy orange peeling one job and then a nice flat job on the rest of the car, if you know what I mean. So you might do the body first and then do the parts, and the orange peel's different because you've gone and sprayed them differently with different pressures and all that. But look, at the end of the day, look at that fan. It is massive and it is very even. So prior to using this, I've been having a lot of fun using my Pro Light T110 with the 1.2 on it. It's actually got a very similar atomization to it, but the fan on that Pro Light with the T110 is a lot smaller, and it's actually not as top quality of a fan on it either. There is some dead zones in that the T110, so it's not, and that's why a lot of the time I've sort of steered away from it. But in saying that, it's got that high fine atomization similar to this one. So in many ways, I would actually have to say, the closest comparison to this gun is the Pro Light 1.2 with the T110. So that actually ended up working out perfectly because it's basically an upgrade of what I've been using. And anyone who's been following this channel will know that I'm a massive fan of the Pro Light. So, you know, I guess you got to eat a little bit of humble pie sometimes when the whole cold hard facts are, this is, I don't know if I want to say a far superior gun, because one of the beautiful things about those Pro Lights is that you can, for an affordable price, well, I mean, they are actually getting up in price, the air caps, but yeah, you used to be able to get an air cap, a replacement air cap for like $110. So you can put the 4 or 5 different air caps on the one gun. You got all those different fluid tips, whereas a gun like this is a little bit more restricted in, you know, what you can do with it. So yeah, and obviously the price is creeping up there on these guns. These guns are, I just had a look before making this video, and it at current exchange rates, it's $1,000 Australian. So look, for a SATAjet, that's not that bad, but compared to say a Pro Light, and again, to be honest, they are creeping up there too. So the Pro Light's actually like, and that's just inflation, let's be clear, you know. Yeah, that's just prices of everything are going up. So I hope your wages are going up too. But yeah, those of you who follow the channel will probably be familiar with that bonnet there. That was off a job that I painted probably about 2 years ago now. And yeah, it's candy over flake respray that I did, and it's just one of those things that the clear just sunk and sunk and sunk, and yeah, we just had to reflow coat the roof bonnet and boot lid. I don't know what it is about those PPG clears. It's like they never dry. After 2 years of sitting in the sun and baking the hell out of it, I could still put my fingernail into that clear. It's like it never actually properly dried. Another thing worth noting is that this is based off the I pattern. So anyone who's familiar with the current SATAjet lineup will know that they've got 2 different nozzle patterns. They've got the I and the O, and that's referring to, say, if you're looking at the spray gun, like from the angle we're looking at it now, from behind the gun, it's more of a flat, sort of like a high. It doesn't have the oval edges, the rounded center, if that makes sense. It's got a very flat high pattern. So what that basically means is you don't get that heavy wet spot in the middle of the fan. You have like a wider and thinner fan. So that's kind of why the 1.3 operates like a 1.2. So yeah, like I say, it's the only option for fluid tips at this point. Look, in the future, I don't know what they're gonna do. You know, these spray gun companies, they do like sort of, you know, staggering their release of their products. So, you know, they like to sort of build a bit of hype. Hey, the latest new gun, and we've done this to it. So, you know, there's nothing to say that they won't release it in a different fluid tip size in the future, but at the moment that's all we've got. But there you go, have a look at that job. It's a very nice tight finish, so that's what you're looking for on these Mazdas. You don't want to go and get that thick chunky orange peel. Now, in saying that, like, if you were to go for like the European finish, if you're sort of painting an Audi or a BMW or Mercedes-Benz or something like that, the way that I would go about replicating that, with the first thing that you want to do is lower that pressure, especially on that first coat. So that's what I've found these days. Well, I found this a long time ago actually. The first coat is key, guys. When you're trying to replicate, like when you're trying to match an orange peel, you've got to get that first coat right. So yeah, what I'm trying to do is crank that pressure up on the first coat, right? And just go a very, very thin coat, right? So still try to get a closed coat. But yeah, if you were going for the more European finish, you'd lower that pressure, heave it on, just go on nice and wet, but extend the flash off times. Yeah, because if you go and put a nice heavy wet coat on and then straight away come back with another wet coat, you're going to get runs or solvent boil. So yeah, if you're looking for the more European finish, put a heavy coat on, lower pressure, wait for a bit, put another one on. This is another respray that I did, a patrol respray. That was actually bare metal respray, 3-stage. So considering all things considered, that's actually quite a nice finish. And when you are doing those 3-layer, when you are doing a respray, you do have a little bit of a license to get them, yeah, a bit flatter. But in saying that, this is pretty much factory finish. Like, that's pretty much a factory peel. Now, anyone that's sprayed 3-stage pearls in waterborne paint will know that they don't stay like this for long. You know, you give it sort of 3 or 4 days and they do start shrinking back, and just the gloss drops a bit, and it's sort of hard to say. If you haven't actually seen it, it's a little bit hard to explain. But it's definitely not an issue which is only to one paint system or one paint line. It's pretty much any waterborne paint does it. It just sort of, yeah, pulls back, it dies back. Pretty much the only way you'd really get around it is to either flow coat it, sand it down and re-clear it, or, you know, pump an extra 2 coats of clear coat on. That could potentially help it. And then even then you may still have to sort of like chop it back and buff it up to get the desired result. But or you could just go and use some solvent base. Gotta love me old solvent, and especially after doing my Tirana and seeing the results on that 3-stage, yeah, definitely loving that solvent base. But what a beautiful looking gun that is. As I've said, guys, there is a link in the description, and again, thank you Spray Guns Direct for sending it out for the purpose of review. It's my current clear gun. It has been for the last couple of weeks. I went back to my Pro Light, and this time it wasn't a case of, oh, I want to keep using the Pro Light. No, this time it was actually a case of, yeah, I might go back to that SATA. It's actually a little bit better than the T110 with the 1.2 on it. Let us know what you thought of this review. If there's something that you think I should be adding in my future videos, be sure to let us know. Any constructive criticism is always welcome. I would like to start to get to the point where I can have a bit of a better formula, but I've got this sort of bad habit where I just turn the video editor on and just start rambling. So I know lots of people do enjoy the rambles that I get into, but in saying that, I've started writing down a list of things for me to sort of go over and mention and have a bit more of a structured type of a review format going forward. So if there's anything that you think I should include, I've actually started a bit of a little notepad. So yeah, hit us up in the comments and I'll add it to the notepad if I think it's a good idea. Anyway, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out. I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favourite is those spray suits, so they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested.